Hello! Welcome back to my channel. We're today going to be making Irresistible Mango Cookies by Savoring Moments. Before we get into this one though, I have to say, holy ads. I don't think I have ever seen so many ads on a Pinterest thing before. Like, I had to watch one just to watch the recipe. Like, usually you just scroll past the ads, hit close, whatever. But even after I watched that ad, like, it made me watch an ad. Um, Oop, hold on. I had to back it up because I wasn't done with my writing yet. But even after it made me watch that ad, it still had ads playing while I was looking at the recipe. It was kind of crazy. I have never experienced that on Pinterest before. Anyway, for the irresistible mango cookies, the ingredients you will need are half a cup of unsalted butter softened, half a cup of granulated sugar, a fourth of a cup of light brown sugar. The recipe calls for one large egg, but my eggs are quite small, and the internet tells me it's fine to do two small eggs in place of one large. Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a fourth of a cup of mango puree, which I guess I was a little bit overzealous at the store when I was buying mangoes because I, for some reason, thought there was going to be a lot more mango stuff in this. But at least this is my husband's favorite fruit, so he will definitely eat those. We pretty much buy mangoes every single time we go to the store. 1.5 cups all purpose flour, half a teaspoon baking soda, a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, and optional, there's half cup chopped dried mango. I guess it just adds some chew. I did not add those just because I don't really like dried fruits. I'm just going to go and wash my hands to start off. And before we begin doing the recipe, we got to do some prep work first because it calls for mango puree. The fourth of a cup is mango puree, so we're just gonna get some of our mangoes together. I'm gonna select the ripest one, and this one was quite squishy. And when I cut into this one, it kind of didn't smell right. Like, you can kind of see like the edges is just a little like gross. So I ended up giving this one outside to the animals. So hopefully there's a bunny or a squirrel out there who enjoyed this a little bit too ripe for me mango. Okay, try two. This one ended up looking much better, but I cut it much worse because I hit the seed immediately. And look at that. Doesn't that one just look so much better than the other one did? And we're just gonna put it into this blender of sorts here. I love when there's little bits left because I can just kind of nom 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 on those while, we're doing other things. Yummy. I tried to get off like all the little excess on these. I think I just ended up kind of eating on it though, for the most part. But this took a surprisingly little amount to get to a fourth of a cup. I think I only ended up using one mango. Ooh, yeah. I slipped with the knife, and then that's when I decided, you know what? No, the rest is just gonna be a tasty treat for me. Anyway, so you're just gonna blend that up until it's nice and smooth. I have my little fourth of a cup here, and we're just gonna see what all we can put in that. Ended up spilling just a little bit. Whoops. And oh no, whatever shall we do? I have extra puree at the bottom. Whatever shall we do with that? It's a mystery what happened to the rest of this puree at the bottom. All right, I'm just going to put them in this little container off to the side while we get the rest, because I will need the fourth of a cup later. Just tap, tap, tap that in there. Perfect. All right, and we're ready. We're ready to roll. Okay, you're going to need a large mixing bowl. You're going to do the half cup unsalted softened butter into that mixing bowl. Half a cup of granulated sugar, which mine was being a little bit clumpy for some reason, so I just had to separate that a little bit. Oops, well, Mistakes were made. That's fine. They mostly just were made in there. Perfect. And now we're doing a fourth of a cup of the light brown sugar. It doesn't say to pack it in, so I didn't. Which, honestly, that might have been a mistake on my part after eating it. All right, and then you're just going to cream those all together until it's smooth and fluffy. Look at that, nice and smooth. It's all incorporated. The next step is you're going to crack your one large egg in there, or in my case, the two small ones. All right, the next thing is half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I'm just now realizing that is a tablespoon that I just put in. It shouldn't affect it very much for this part, but I'm pretty sure I grabbed the same thing in the next part when I needed half a teaspoon, and that explains a lot of why it tasted the way it did. And then you're going to put in your mango puree, about a fourth of a cup, and you're going to mix all that together. At this point, the author's notes are that the batter will have a pale orange hue to it, and it should start to smell really fruity and really nice. It should be very aromatic. I'm not gonna lie to you, at this point in time, I also had eggs boiling on the stove, so I couldn't smell anything. No fruity aroma for me. All right, once that is all nice and mixed, you're going to take a separate bowl. Oh, look, you can see my phone. Hello. And we're going to do that 1.5 cups all-purpose flour. Which I am just now realizing I only put in 1 cup. I don't understand what happens to me when I start baking these. I write down all the instructions. I am reading the instructions as I go. I stop, I look at things. It's like a fog goes over my brain. All right, you need half a teaspoon of baking soda, which again, I was using my tablespoon instead of teaspoon. So we have 2 less flour, too much baking soda. The aftertaste of this makes sense now, but the main taste of it is still what it is. And you'll find that out when I do the taste testing. You're going to do a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, and then you're just going to whisk that up. Just do a quick whisk. And now we're just going to combine the dry into the wet ingredients a little bit at a time. Just making sure you get it all incorporated. Considering the fact that this has way less dry ingredients than it should, I am shocked that the dough came out as doughy as it did. Like, it was still kind of wet, but like, I'm surprised it wasn't way more. I did too much at that point. Usually want to do it a little bit at a time. But we're just going to take our time and just kind of incorporate it in there. See, look how good that looks. Even though, like, we haven't even done all the flour in yet, but, like, this is way less dry ingredients than it should. This is probably why I didn't question it, because look how doughy that is. Okay, once you have all of the correct ingredients combined, you're going to cover this and you're going to refrigerate it for 30 minutes. Apparently, this just helps prevent the cookies from spreading too much while baking. Mine spread a lot, but now I'm thinking maybe it was just because we didn't have the structural integrity of the flour. All right, it has been 30 minutes. During that 30-minute time, too, you want to make sure you preheat your oven to 350. And we're going to take our baking sheet. This is what I've got for a baking sheet right now. And you're just going to put some, ooh, goodness, we're going to rock the boat here, but we're going to put some parchment paper down on it. And we're just going to scoop a tablespoon sized cookies. And they said that you want them about 2 inches apart. Honestly, I'm glad that I didn't pack mine in as much as I was originally thinking I was going to do. I ended up doing them in batches. Because, like I said, they spread quite a bit. But then after you've got these all on there and they're at least 2 inches apart, you're going to want to bake for 10 to 12 minutes or until the edges are lightly golden. I do think I could have let mine bake for a little bit longer. Like, the edges were golden, but it's just, I don't know. I do think that they're a little bit underdone. Okay, our first batch is out of the oven. This batch, I think for sure was underdone. Like they are a little bit on the bottom. It definitely gets better as the batches go. But normally you would put these on a wire rack and let them completely kind of cool down. I don't have a wire rack, and I was also just feeling a little impatient. So I just put them on this plate here. Um, which they kind of stuck to each other after I did that, but yeah. Yeah, you can kind of tell this one's a little bit underbaked. Unfortunate. Oh, and oh my goodness, look at that. They are done. Ooh. All right, it's time to taste test these. Can I just say, like, okay, so I can't put like the images that the original like Pinterest person put because you're not supposed to on YouTube. Can I just say these look completely different? First of all, they look nothing like the photos, and I don't know if that's like my fault or what, but I'm excited. I'm excited to try these. I hope they taste really mango-y. They're very, very soft, first of all, and I think maybe I underbaked some of it, but even so, like even this one that I baked, like that's baked. Um, it's very, very soft. I'm excited. Um, hmm. Well, I'm confused. I guess we'll start with the good. They're very soft. The texture, very pleasing. Um, I think I did something horribly wrong. There has to be something that I did horribly wrong because this tastes like cornbread and then chemicals. Like, not like quite like chemicals, but like a burning sensation almost coats your mouth, and like I can still like feel it in my mouth, but it tastes exactly like cornbread at first, and I'm so confused. There's not a hint of mango. There's not a hint of sugar either, which is wild because there's two different kinds of sugar in here, and there is mango in here. I don't understand what I did wrong. I mean, it's honestly, it's kind of amazing how bad it is. Like you get hit with like cornbread. And I don't dislike cornbread, but then the aftertaste kind of hurts you in a little bit, like your mouth, and then it just coats your mouth, and it's almost oily, but without oil, you know? I'm continuing to eat because I want to try to describe what is happening to me. It's like cornbread, and then your tongue senses something is wrong, like really wrong. And so it like tries to be like, no, no. And then you just like feel it all over your mouth. I'm trying to think of what it tastes like, but other than just wrong, I can't think of anything. Man, my husband's gonna be so sad. He was so looking forward to these. Mango is literally like his favorite fruit ever. And you can't taste any mango in this. Which I was kind of suspicious of at first because there seemed to be a really low amount of mango puree. But also, it doesn't taste like there's any sugar in here either, or butter. It literally just tastes like cornbread. I'm gonna rate these. Can't wait to see what I did wrong because there's no way this is what it was supposed to be. But I'm gonna rate these 2 out of 10. which is really sad, but it doesn't taste like mango and it doesn't taste like cookies. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.